Hi guys. For my starter discussion, I had immigration and assimilation. The discussion asks us to discuss some of the major challenges immigrants face and how can native-born individuals help immigrants with their adjustment, and how can naive or culturally uninformed attempts at helping be harmful. As our readings discuss, children in immigrant families sometimes serve as language brokers for their parents, so I'm going to describe how this affects the children and why. First of all, this was very interesting for me considering that my husband is an immigrant. We have had to face a lot of these challenges. Some people do look at him differently than normal because of his culture, his race, his background, ethnicity, whatever you'd like to call it. I think one of the major challenges that immigrants face along their way would be language. Language is a huge, part of our daily life. It's how we communicate with others, not so much spoken language, but also body language as well. Something that we do may not be something that they do, and they could take it differently. Each culture has their own way that they, speak or present themselves, hold a conversation, especially if they come from different countries where they do speak different languages. That's a huge transition that they'll have to, adjust to when they come. I would say another challenge would just be native-born individuals. Not all, but a lot of times native-born individuals, when they see an immigrant, they tend to pass judgment so quickly. And I know that's the case for my husband as well. A lot of people think that because he's Hispanic, something bad could happen. Just like a presidential candidate, as you know, has also spoke poorly of a Hispanic, those of the Hispanic descent. I think the best way that we can help immigrants with their adjustment is just by being understanding and patient, especially when they are newer. With my job, I, have to deal a lot with people from Nepal. And when they do come, luckily a lot of them have, International Institute translators that, are there to help them. But it's easy to lose your patience with them, and I think the patience is the most important thing, because we have to understand that they're coming here to try and, provide a better life for themselves and their families. If you do, when they do speak English, if they don't speak the best, if you just listen to them and take the time, it's easy to try and piece together what they're saying, as long as you just focus on them and helping them. I think another way to help immigrants adjust would just not to be pass judgment on them. You hear negative things about foreign-borns, and especially Hispanics, before getting to know one yourself. I know when I first started dating my husband, one of the big things was that, my mom had heard that Hispanics can be very controlling, and that was something that we had to work through together because that wasn't the case. Naive attempts that can be harmful is if you don't know about their culture. If you're trying to help them, but say you try and cook someone something that they don't technically eat, and then they find out after they eat it that it is something that they're not supposed to have, that can be, harmful to them. You try and do something out of the kindness of your heart, but if you don't know the background, it might be offensive to someone. As for the children that serve as language brokers, in my opinion, I feel that they have to grow up faster. They are the ones that communicate for their parents, not only just, day-to-day, maybe school things, but important things as well. If they don't have the option to, speak in their language, then the child has to be the one that's their voice. So they have to grow up because they have to understand what they're talking about, so that way they're best able to help their parents. Being that my husband is from Honduras, we have a lot of friends that their children are their voice. And I think in one aspect it's great because the child is able to help the parents, but at the same time, I think it's a burden on the child as well. A child is supposed to be able to live their life, grow up, not have too many responsibilities. And I think by adding the fact that they, have to be the voice for their child and they have to mature faster than those around them does play a role in them, and hopefully not for the worse. So that is my starter post, and I hope you guys have a great night. Bye.